Trevor the tractor was enjoying his work in the vicarage orchard, birds would be singing if you two would not be fair, you...
Hello, Trevor, said James. You look as bright and cheerful as my red paint. Us.
Oh, I am, replied Trevor.
What's that noise?
It's the bees, laughed Trevor. They're all in my box. The vicar says his bees make good crack, and he's giving some of them to his friends. But it would be funny, Frank. Just then, BoCo, the diesel engine, hummed. Daisy, woo, woo. She tooted as BoCo came in. The China...
Take care, you two. Make the bees angry. They might sting you.
But it would be funny. James didn't like being told what to do by a beehive, and he buzzed off.
Goodbye, Trevor,
called BoCo, and set off to duck at the next station. Bill and Ben, the tank engine twins, were busy arranging cars, but they scampered off when they saw BoCo.
I remember the first time I met those two, laughed BoCo. They made my eyes pop out. Edward soon put a stop to their games.
Edward is the only one who can keep Bill and Ben on leash, chuckled Duck. I sometimes call them the bees. A good name, replied BoCo. They're terrorists when they start blowing shit up. James bustled in.
What's that, Duck? Are you afraid of insects? Don't let that buzzbox diesel tell you different.
His name is BoCo, and he didn't.
I wouldn't give a shit if hundreds were swarming around. I'd just blow
Sir Topham Hatt. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The next morning, James arrived at the station to collect his coat name. The passengers were excited and keen to get on board. The platform was crowded, and the porter was in a hurry. Mind your backs, he shouted. Then there was trouble. The beehive fell and broke open. The station cleared like magic. James heard a familiar buzzing. The bees were too cross to be cold, so they buzzed around the fireman, hoping he'd mend their hive. But he didn't understand, nor did his driver, so the bees turned to James. His boiler was nice and warm. Bug it off, hissed James. One bee burnt his foot. Ooh, ooh. James had burnt him on purpose. Ooh. So it stung James right back on the nose. Eee! Whistled James. He had had enough. So had his fireman and driver. They didn't notice till too late that they had left all their coaches behind. They tried everything to get rid of the bees. First, they spun on the turntable, but to no avail. They tried washing them off, but the bees clung harder to James's warm boiler. Then they tried smoking a long pipe, but still the bees wouldn't go away. It's no good, James, said his driver. We'll just have to go back to the orchard and smoke another hive. James's reply was drowned by the sound of buzzing. The vicar was waiting anxiously for James. When he arrived, the bees swarmed straight into their new home. Come on, James, said his driver. What you need now is a good hope. Later that evening, James was resting in the shed when the vicar came.
Thank you for saving my bees, he said. It's a pity it's not Christmas. Then we could call you James the Red-Nosed Engine.
Everyone laughed, even James. But instead, they decided to call James the
Red-Nosed Engine,
which means they thought he was
a load of scrap iron.